Hi, welcome to Julie's Rich Life, or welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I'm going through my January budget numbers, reconciling the budget because I want to have a zero-based budget. I also like to call it a conscious spending plan. So I'm going to show you the categories I did well in and not so well in. But I think with these budgeting videos, it's nice to have a little context about, the family that's doing the budget. If you already know that about me, thanks for coming back and watching another video, and you can use the timestamp, chapter, links, skip ahead. All right, so like I said, I'm Julie. I own a small licensed childcare, a little Montessori toddler community that's built off the side of my home. And so that's my source of income. My husband is a middle school teacher, so that's his source of income. I do also teach adult learners professional development, so I make a little bit of money monthly from that, and then a little healthier chunk of change during the summer when I'm not teaching the toddlers. So that's the main source of income for our family. We have 3 adult children. One is married with my first grandchild, and they do not live with us, but they live close, so they do show up at dinner time pretty frequently. And so we do feed them a bit with our grocery budget, and then we try to be, generous with them if they need help. They're starting their own business, so you know how that can be, and we're happy to support them when we can. And then my middle child is living at home. He just was waiting for a promotion and increase in his wages, and now he hopes to be out of the house by April. He just needs to find that rental house that works with his income, as he's a good budgeter. And he does not pay rent, and the reason I don't feel the need to have him pay rent is because he is really good at saving his money and planning for his future. So I don't think we need to charge him rent to make a point. He's already really good about his sinking funds and long-term savings and investing in retirement accounts already. So he doesn't really eat our food. So really the only impact he has on my budget is a little bit of the utility expense, I guess. And so he can stay here for as long as he wants to. And then my youngest child has a disability. So I am his parent and his caretaker. And he will hopefully move out someday into some kind of group living, supported living place, and but for now he lives with us, so that does impact our budget. All right, so let's get started. Like I said, I don't share our income. I also don't share our giving. Our giving includes donating to our place of worship. It also includes spontaneous giving, so that could be a fundraiser someone's having. It could be a GoFundMe account. It could be just an actual friend that needs help. It could be any wide variety, or it could be giving to a charitable organization. And then I also have a giving category that's like helping my family, and that doesn't always get spent. I haven't really talked about that yet in past videos, but it's going to come into play in this video because I overspent my spontaneous giving category. And the reason I went over in spontaneous giving is because I have a little bit of impulse control when I attend fundraising events. And it would have been even worse if I didn't know that about myself, to say, okay, Julie, how much do you really want to give? But it was for a really good cause. It was for a youth group fundraiser. And so I kind of got swept in all the event ways you can spend money to help them, but it's all going to a very good cause. And so the youth attend will only have to pay like $20, I think it is. And so that is a very good cause. But it did impact my budget because I went $300 over in my spontaneous giving. So I'm going to have to figure out how we're making that up. Okay, so let's look at savings and investing. All right, so you can just ignore this emergency fund because it doesn't let you delete those emergency funds in this every dollar. So we just pretend that doesn't exist. Okay, so the reason I didn't spend or save this simple IRA is because I'm thinking that maybe I really want a Roth IRA and maybe I want to convert that. And I've got to, talk to a financial advisor. I really need to do that anyway because I'm just not really happy with how that fund is performing. And it's really hard to even figure out like the fees. They kind of keep it mysterious on purpose. But I'm going to have a talk with a fee-only advisor, I hope this month. But I still have that money. I just need to decide where to put it. And I might just throw it to either my home equity loan or my car loan. I'm not sure. But I did put money in my granddaughter's educational fund and medical savings and the house maintenance and repair savings. And actually, I put money in and then we drained that account. It only had 13 something in it because we just started that account, but we needed a new oven. Our oven went kaput. So we're starting from zero with that account, but we'll put $350 in it, and then our emergency savings and repair account, and we will be withdrawing from that in February to do repair on our Nissan Leaf, which is an electric car. And we've saved so much money for the lack of repairs and lack of gas in that car. So I know we really feel good about our emergency savings, and we'll have money left over even so. All right, and then I put $400 into our Get Busy Living, Get Busy Dying fund. That's a line from the Shawshank Redemption if you enjoyed that movie. And we'll probably end up using the money that's in there for a spring break trip, just probably driving somewhere, renting a house, just doing, not quite a staycation, but a low budget vacation for my husband and our youngest, and then whichever adult children are available to join us for any of the days we're there. All right, and then we put $884 into our boat/Asia trip fund. We want to upgrade my husband's boat, and so he'll sell his old one, and then we want to go on a trip to Asia. So we could have an account for both, but for me, I just like saving for one thing first, and that will most likely be the boat and then a trip to Asia, but it's the same account. All right, and then I invested $150 just in stock. Let me know if you're interested in my public stock portfolio, and I can share that with you. But that's just individual stocks, and that, I don't know how to describe it. It's not play money because it's real money and I don't play with money. It's just something separate from our retirement funds that are just kind of like set to go with index funds mostly. And just a chance to learn about stocks and, make some money from them, and then to be in a non-taxed advantage. So as this grows, we're not forced to take money out of it, and we only pay taxes as we sell. So that's that account, 150. And then my Roth IRA, which is different than that simple IRA, I put 167.75, and that money is an index fund and a dividend fund. And then we put $300 into my son's ABLE account. That's the son with the disability. And that money will be there for him. It's a tax advantage account for people with disabilities, so that he can have that money to spend just on the four walls, just basically to keep himself alive once we're gone, because we will not be living forever. So, okay, so that's our savings and investing. Now we're looking at bills and being an adult. So I've got my property taxes, my water, my electricity. So I get my bills in a timely fashion, so I know exactly how much it's going to cost. Mobile phone. So mobile phone is for 3 adults and 1 business phone. My daughter pays us back for her business phone and her own personal phone, and part of that is she's paying for a fancy phone on that. So that's why that's a little high. And then the garbage was less magically. I'm not really sure why, but landline. So on budget, home equity line. So gas, we were over 37.78. We'll have to make that up somewhere. Medical expenses, that's basically like if we had a copay, but usually just pharmacy. And then since it's the beginning of the year again, not health savings, what if it's even called? We call it the magic medicine card. Anyway, we can use that card. So we're not using our debit card again. All right. Groceries. Now groceries, I mentioned before, I live in the 3rd most expensive state for groceries. It's really hard to sort out how much is the family budget and how much is the school budget. I know the school budget, I just don't try to keep track of what they actually eat. That would just be too tedious for me. So I just take the standard deduction the IRS allows for meals, and that ends up being about $350 a month. So that is the childcare. Although I will say I'm quite confident we spend more than that because we provide organic food and really high quality food for the children. So I know if I nickeled and dimed out, it would be more, but it's just too tedious for the simple life I like to have. But that is to say, it's not just all for the 3 adults that live there. It's also my son-in-law and daughter stopping by to eat, and then my middle child does eat some of our food, although not much, but that's why we have a high grocery bill. And then also, I didn't always buy organic food. I didn't always buy organic milk. I didn't always buy hormone-free meat and all of that, but now I can afford to, and now we do. And I think the older we get, the better we need to take care of ourselves. So that does bump up the grocery bill as well. My auto insurance was cheaper this month because of a dividend we got, and 51 cents. My life insurance, I just must have overestimated my life insurance because it's the same every month. It definitely doesn't go down. And then car loan, like $334 of that is my actual car payment, and the rest was extra I put into it. And then dental expenses for a family member that are just, a one-off that month. Okay, so that's it for my bills and being an adult. Let's look at what I spend to have a content life. Okay, this is rare that I overspent in Julie's guilt-free spending. I overspent $9.59. And the main reason for that was I forgot about an app that I had purchased last year, 2024, when I was all getting in a New Year's resolution kind of mode, and I bought this walking tracking app, which I never used for anything and then forgot about. So I didn't feel right putting that just in our general flexible spending or subscriptions because it was just for me. And I'm the one that forgot about it and didn't use it. So it did mean I went over almost $10 in my guilt-free spending. My husband was under, which is typical for this type of year. I was telling him the other day, he wanted to listen to a book and he didn't have any free books to listen to on his Amazon. And I said, just go buy a book. You've got money in your guilt-free spending. But he didn't spend it. But now comes springtime when he needs more fishing gear and everything. In the summer, he'll be spending from his guilt-free spending. And I tease him that, if he catches enough fish, that could be put in the food budget. But he does catch a good amount of fish. All right, our other flexible spending, we had 196 left over, and that is nice. And I'm not sure why that is, but we'll take it. Okay. And then I didn't buy anything for my mom and dad. That's basically where I keep track of what I pick up for them because they like to pay me back for that. They insist on paying me back for that. And then we had money left in subscriptions, which I guess will balance out my subscription eventually. Pet care went over a little bit. YouTube, TV went up again. Eating out, we went a little over. The business reimbursement, you can just ignore that because sometimes I'm just buying a lot of things at the store and some of them are for my business. And so I just keep track of that so the business can pay myself back, which I did. And then we drained our house maintenance fund and then needed a little bit more. And I knew that ahead of the January budget. So I budgeted $298 for the difference, but I guess I rounded too much because I have $366 left over. And so that's it for living a content life. And then my rich life is that I pay for a cleaning service for the house. I spend a lot of time cleaning the classroom at the end of the day and then deep cleaning. And so I just like to have a good cleaning of the house once a month and then we maintain it in between. So what does this mean? This means that I overspent $300 in spontaneous giving and I overspent $231.87 in all of my other categories combined for a total of $531.87 that I went over on my budget. So you will notice that there were actually categories that I underspent in as well. And that's great because I need that money to be able to reconcile this budget. And so I underspent $431.46 in the other categories, but you'll notice that's not enough. And so where that money is going to come from is another category. And I keep saying I'm not going to talk about my giving category. Well, I don't say I'm not going to talk about my giving category. It's just not my giving spending. But one of my giving categories is just an extra fund just to help my adult children out if they need a little help. Because my daughter is starting a business and that can be really scary, especially with a young child, but I want them to pursue that because I think owning your own business is great and it's a business that's a lot more scalable than my little childcare is, and so I think that's great. And so I just want to help them out if they need it. I like having it budgeted into my budget so that if they say, oh, we need this piece of equipment, I'm not saying, oh, I want to help, but where's it coming from? So I just have an amount of money, not just for my daughter, but for my other children. Like if they ever gotten in a pinch, it's in my budget. And I know people have strong feelings. I know there are people that kick their children out the door when they're 18 and they never get another cent of help. That's not my family of origins culture. On my dad's side, they're immigrants. They helped each other. You know, the sons helped. I guess it was more the children helping the parents back then. But I think families, that's like our social capital, is helping each other when we can. And if you can't afford to, then you definitely should not be doing that. But I can afford to. So I budget a certain amount of money. And I didn't end up helping any of the children this month. And so I did kind of know that going into overspending in my other giving category. So the difference between, what is this? So the difference between, it's just about, yeah, $100.40 difference between my overspending and my underspending in other categories is going to come out of that helping my family. And at some point could be other family members like my parents. We'll see how things go. But so I'll take that 100 out of there, and then what I have left in my giving category for helping the children will go into one of my other savings accounts. I think probably we'll just put it in our emergency savings account. This is just something new I've been doing the last few months, budgeting that to help family members. So we'll just see how it goes. And I mean, eventually my children will outgrow that, I know. All right, so that's my January budget. Not perfect. I don't think it'll ever be perfect. And if I just showed you a perfect budget, I mean, that wouldn't be very interesting, I don't think. I sure wish I, was doing this 20 years ago, because it just blows my mind that we have this much money to make choices about. So let me know how you did with your January budget, or if you have any questions about mine, I'd love to answer them for you. All right, thanks for watching, and here's a video that YouTube thinks you'll like, and here is a link to the playlist of my conscious spending and budgeting videos. Thanks for watching, and take care.